So I thought I would start with a little bit of background. As I've previously said twice now, my name is Nicole and I am 27 years old. For the past 8 months I have been living and working in Norwich, England. Norwich is a city in East Anglia, quite a large one, and I quite enjoy it. I was born in Hertfordshire, raised in Cambridgeshire, and apart from a 3-year interval where I lived in Carlisle while I was a student, that's the sole sum of where I have lived in my entire 27 years of life. With regards to my job, I am full-time hourly paid and I work within a retail head office. That's all I'm really prepared to say regarding my employers. I am conscious of them, contracts that I have signed, future employment opportunities in the role that I am currently doing, which I will not be giving any more information about, except to say that as I am hourly paid, my take home is £1,249.63 per month after deductions. Now, for any UK viewers, you will know that those deductions are tax and national insurance. For any rest of the world viewers, we in the UK, our tax and national insurance contributions are automatically deducted off our wages either each month, each bi-month, bi-weekly, weekly, however you're paid. Those are calculated by HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, and we don't see that money unless we have somehow overpaid on tax or underpaid, in which case they get in contact with you very quickly if you've underpaid and want their money back, and they're less quick at giving you it back if you have overpaid and they owe you money. Yeah, that's always the way. Everyone has a tax-free allowance, which means that you can earn a set amount of money per year before you have to start paying any taxes. You are then taxed at 20% over what you earn, that lump sum, up to a certain amount, and then it jumps to 40% and 50%. Now that's really good news for me because it means that I don't have to try and account for my taxes and deductibles each month. If I were still self-employed, or you were a contractor or a limited company, a limited entity, that's a slightly different matter, and that is a separate video once I've done a bit more research on that. So that is my income. It is a solo income because it is just me, I am single, and it's what I have to work with. I hope it's going to improve. So that does lead quite nicely onto my financial facts. So I've said my take home. I am going to, as I said, be redoing my budget. But in terms of what's fixed and what can't really change at the minute are my set expenses. I pay £425 a month for my rent. That includes bills. I pay car insurance of £61.59 per month. I would love to pay it annually, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case just yet. My car tax is £10.50 a month. My mobile phone should be £38.90, but for the past 2 or 3 months it has shot up due to data usage and additional charges, which I have spent countless hours on the phone to my phone provider trying to break down and work out, and I'm getting nowhere. My petrol is £160 a month, which is the equivalent of a full tank per week. I am not going to make any changes to that amount. If anything, it needs to be upped slightly. Where I am living currently, it's a 130-mile round trip to my closest family members, and that's half a tank of petrol. If there were any problems, any emergencies, that I need that there. I need the security of knowing that I can put petrol in my car and drive to wherever I needed to. Talking of the car, I own my car outright. It is my first car. It's a 2004 Vauxhall Corsa with 87,000 miles on it. And touch wood. She's still running fine. She is a she. I call her Gertrude. Gertie for short. Judge me all you like. I feel absolutely no shame. I'm one of those people that gives their car a name. That thing is an absolute monster. She chugs along, she takes everything I put her through, and I could not be happier. While that car is happy to drive and happy to run, I do not plan on making any changes to my car. I would love a slightly stronger engine, as she's only 1 litre, but that unfortunately is not to be for now. Now, the good news is that the majority of those costs are only really fixed until August. Because we are paid 4 weekly at work, it means we get 13 paydays a year. And my 13th payday is the beginning of August. And the good news is that that month, on that payday, I will not have to pay for any of those fixed sums because they will have already been accounted for. And that gives me options. And it gives me options because I have no savings. And by no savings, I mean I have £145 in a bank account, which has been set aside to pay for my car breakdown cover. I have previously been on the family plan under my mum. It was £80 for the year last year. However, as I have now moved out, I'm taking that on myself. I did pay it last year, but I now have to re-register as a completely new customer, and that's about £145. And that will be by the 26th of June. So, yes, I have that money. No, I don't have that money, if that makes sense. I have no emergency fund. I have no rainy day fund. If my car were to break, I have no fund to repair or replace it. If something were to happen to the rental property and we needed to move out quite quickly, I can't afford to. If I wanted to move places, I can't afford to. I cannot afford to pay for things annually, really. And I have no sinking funds for any luxuries. I have no sinking fund for Christmas. Which is why my channel is called She Starts Saving, because I really need to. And the lack of emergency fund leads me nicely onto my debt. Now, the good news is that I no longer have any consumer debt. That in itself is a whole separate video that will be coming in about 4 to 5 weeks' time. I'm just pulling all the information together for that one. The bad news is that the debt that I do have is to my parents. And my parents, by their own admission, are my emergency fund because I have no savings and because I am by myself. And there is a backstory here, and the backstory will be covered. But when it became clear that I'd accepted the job and I was moving to Norwich, things happened quite quickly. But what was really apparent was the fact that I didn't have the money to move. I didn't have the money for my first month's rent, for my deposit. I took what I could with me in terms of furniture, but there were things that were missing. When I started, it was going to be 6 weeks until I saw a payday because of when I had last been paid versus when I was due to be paid. And even then, that wasn't going to be a full month, so they helped out there. So I owe my parents, and my debt is £1,619, which doesn't look like a lot or feel like a lot in comparison to what I have owed in the past and what my level of debt was. But it's to my parents, and there is an emotional thing there as well as a financial thing. They're not a nameless, faceless computer that I went on and logged on and applied for and got, the money straight away, and it was, a mechanical transaction. There is a lot of emotion there. And I know that some people are going to say, you shouldn't ever have to owe your parents money, and, they should just be able to do that. But here's the thing. My financial past with my parents is messy, and I put them through hell. And they have written off far more than what I currently owe them, and have paid out far more than I currently owe them. And I was not prepared to let that happen again. I was adamant and insistent that I would repay them. And we have had a conversation, and there is an arrangement set up which will be discussed in a separate video as to how I'm going to pay it back and when. They are both in agreement that with me that I need to get some savings behind me first, so that I don't accumulate more debt from them. I have a brother and sister, and there are now certain levels of financial obligation that they have to my brother and sister because they have obligated it to me. And you aren't going to meet my parents. You will not get any information about their names, where exactly they live, their current state of affairs. They do form a part of my history that I will touch on. There's no way they can't be included in that aspect of my story, but that's all you're getting. You're not going to meet my brother and sister. You know, if these people decide they want to appear in a YouTube video, then, you know, good for them, that will change. But I don't think so. My mum knows that I am recording videos. She doesn't yet know that I've been or intend to upload. She is in two minds about it. My sister does know and doesn't really like YouTubers or people that YouTube. You know, she's my sister, she loves me, but it's not something she prefers, and I don't think she understands. So that's where we stand there. So those are my financial facts. But more importantly, it's how do I overcome this? I made a decision to change my life and restart my life. And again, a completely different video. And I am going to kind of give fair warning here and say that this channel and these videos will include mental health and my mental health, because it is deeply wrapped up in my financial background, the decisions that I've made, the actions that I took, the mistakes, and where I am now currently and how I've gotten here and why. And if that's not for you, I completely understand, and thank you for watching. Mental health and debt is only really starting to come out, and some people in the financial industry have known about it for years, but there's not a lot of people that will talk about it. And I will talk about it, but not yet. I don't want to... This is hard. I will talk about my mental health and money, or money and mental health, but not yet. That is going to be its own video. And although it is Mental Health Awareness Week, just gone, and I would have loved to have been able to put something out about that, I'm not ready. And I hope that you can respect that. Yeah. So that's where we currently stand. When I have the words, I will talk. And I don't have the words yet. And I don't know how to tell that. I do firmly believe that money and mental health and debt and mental health walk hand in hand. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, I'm just going to consult my list and do everything that YouTubers tell you not to do, which is not look at the camera and look at the lens and yeah, so I think I've covered my wills and won'ts. There's a bit of background there, a bit more background, more will start to come out, and my financial facts as they currently stand. Each kind of financial fact is going to branch out and develop further and have their own videos. I am not normally someone who is in front of the camera. I have spent 8 years avoiding the camera. I have a career background in theatre, film and television within a creative role, and I think in 8 years I appear for about 5 seconds on a behind the scenes video running off screen on purpose. But I do very much feel like I am being called to do this, to share the story that I have, and if I need to be one of the first people to talk openly about money and mental health, then I will, because it needs to be talked about. If you haven't guessed from my accent, I am, I'm British, and we're not very good at talking about our feelings, and we're not very good at talking about money. And I'm going to talk about both once I've sorted out my budget, because my budget for this month has been absolutely busted. I need to just rescue this month, really. Because that's going to be, like, if I were to put it up now, every financial YouTuber or anyone with half a brain will go, what are you doing with your numbers? Really? So, I mean, I'm doing it to myself. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Look, there'll be, I've got plans and ideas for videos that I'm hashing out. There's going to be some food shop ones, because I quite enjoy those. There's going to be maybe some kind of like financial wins and successes kind of video. I got this free or really cheap, something like that. Sinking funds, obviously, I'm going to start saving, where I'm going to start with tackling my debt background, why I've moved, why I changed careers, the things that led up to that. Let's have a look. And also like quality of life. Although I'm kind of unsuccessfully living on a budget, like at the minute when it has worked, I've definitely noticed an increase in my quality of life, so I'm quite intrigued to explore that more. And then of course your budget summaries and monthly breakdowns and catch-ups and stuff. So yeah, I'm hopefully going to try and build my own little community and channel, and I have been hugely inspired by other financial YouTubers out there, and they have definitely been kind of the kick up the bum that I've needed to get this started and commit to it. So yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, please feel free to comment down below, whatever they are. Well, that doesn't mean you hurl me abuse, because I will kick you. But no, leave your comments. Are you like me? Are you an emotional spender? Because I'm that one. I'm a natural spender who is an emotional car wreck 9 times out of 10. Or are you a saver? And in which case, give me all of your advice, please. Preferably for nothing, because I have no money to pay for it. But I will pass the message on and repay in kind. It's Sunday evening where I am now. I hope you have a good rest of your week, a good start to your week if you're watching this later on. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to upload. Maybe this evening, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Might want to know now. Maybe. Anyway, have a good rest of your week. Please like and subscribe for more videos and more content, and more of me generally making a hash of myself and trying to figure out life both on and off a budget. And on that note, I will see you next time. Bye.